Hello, my lovely Cancerians. Um, this is quite a lovely reading, and I feel like it could go on and on and on, so I've stopped pulling cards. Oh, sorry. My name is Lynn Walden. I'm a clairvoyant medium. I am doing a reading with you, for you, with my Intuitive Insight Oracle cards. And when I started this, I checked in with my guides to say, okay, what's the overall? And of course I got a crab. Although I shouldn't say of course, because when I was doing Leo, I got an eagle, not a lion. So if I got a crab, it was for a reason. As I followed this crab, it crawled up over the edge of this little tidal pond. And as soon as it reached over the edge into the other environment, it turned into this massive lobster. And I'm going, oh, geez, okay, well, that's great, but do they ever get to be human? And I was told quite clearly, that's not the point. What's the point, I said? The point is that Cancers, my gosh, you have got such a possibility now in your life to drop anything that you have from the past that is holding you back from moving into a new environment and feeling secure and being strong in it. We tend to associate crabs as, the image of them, the Cancerians being tucked into their shell away, but that's my rising sign, so I can relate to that. I am a homebody. I do like my environment. However, I've also been to India, Nepal, all sorts of places, not without some trepidation, but I had the need to go. And I followed it. And I thought about my friend who had fiddler crabs in her aquarium. And I'll be darned, didn't those little crabs keep crawling out of her aquarium, and we'd find them hanging on the shag rug halfway down to the living room. And I think that's pretty amazing that their desire to move and get beyond their containment was greater than any sense of fear of their fragility. They're tiny, tiny little things. So when I looked at your cards, I was just laughing. It's like, of course, this is absolutely perfect. What we've got here is, I'll read you the titles of the cards, and then I'll tell you how I put them together. Loss or liberation, patterns, creativity. Structured free flow, calm focus. Betrayal. Take a break from fixing yourself. Past, present, future, a new day. This all is telling me, as I'm putting all of this together and looking at what jumps at me off the cards and what the guides are overlaying, it is this. Cancer, you are very able to move into bigger arenas, and you are going to grow almost instantly into being able to be safe and comfortable in that environment. You are, however, the kind of energy that likes to have calm, that likes to have a sense of containment. So create whatever kind of structure you need for yourself before you jump into, or I should say, crawl over into, or swim into a new environment. Look at what's going to help you do that, because that's going to really help neutralize some of the fear that might come up around going into something new. So if you can set yourself a structure that anchors you into that new way of being, and look at this possibility, look at this new phase as a new day. You can let go of the past. You can take a chance on, look at those old patterns, look at the patterns that you've been in that have kept you tight and stuck for a really long time for many of you. And of course, this is a collective, so it's not going to be relevant for every Cancerian because there are also other energies that are going to be influencing you. So if this doesn't fit, just toss it. But for those of you who have felt stuck, this is also a time where if you need to, you can go back and you can look at it and say, how did I get stuck? What was it from my past that made staying small and safe reasonable? And is that the truth? Is that who I am? Is that real? Because chances are, if you check in with that and you say, well, am I really incompetent? Well, heck no, I've done that. I've been the manager there. I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. No, I'm not incompetent. Okay, well, then that story doesn't fit. So knowing that cognitively, very often just bringing something to consciousness like that evaporates it, right? If there's not a lot of trauma around it, and sometimes even if there is, it can go just by bringing it to consciousness and realizing it's pretty ludicrous, because of course you're not. I want to read you this card, creativity. Creativity is an energy and is designed to be lived and appreciated in all acts of life, from the socks you choose to the kind of mustard you put on your sandwich. Creativity is not a gift, endowing the bearers with membership to a private and elite club. I don't know how much creativity in terms of art, music, things of that nature of creativity is a part of this. But what I do know is creativity is something we all have. And our mind and our attitudes are the things that will allow us to create the kind of life that you want. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, what would you have to give up? What would you have to give up in order to be liberated in a way that would make you feel more fulfilled? That would allow you to create a new day. That would give you a break from all the times you didn't let yourself. That would give you, it's not just a break from all the times you didn't let yourself, but would allow you to just stop saying, well, I can't because, and instead say, no, I'm going to stand for myself here. What would I like it to be? How would I like to create my life? What you're also getting here is a reminder that you don't have to jump into the deep end without having some sense of structure and some sense of containment within which you can swim. Okay? Keep a calm focus, bring your energy in, and allow yourself to imagine, if I were looking at my life now, like it's new, and every time you find yourself wanting to react to something from the past, you were to say, what if I'd never seen that before? What if this were me now responding to this as opposed to how I would have responded in the past? What would I do now? How would I do it differently? How would I like to do it differently? Because my lovely Cancers, you have got a lot of creative energy. You're water, my loves. You're water. There's so much depth. There's so much depth. I mean, you think about it, you're the water sign that is the deepest in the ocean. You are walking around on the bottom of the ocean. You're not swimming. You're actually in contact with the structure of the earth through the ocean. So you have that wonderful quality of also wanting structure and being in touch with the planet. Think about it. You're not in a little tiny shell. Well, you are. Okay, technically. Crabs are. But as we know, crabs grow and crabs grow new shells. But what I'm being shown here is when you decide you want to go into another environment, you have what it takes and you become that. And you become a completely different, okay, it's still with a shell, but you still, the point is, what they're saying, I shouldn't belittle the lobster, is that you will become what you need to be in order to be in that environment. And it isn't always going to stay necessarily as a shellfish. This, I realize how convoluted this is sounding. Basically, bottom line is, this is an analogy, the crab, the lobster, small, big, you are going to have the protection you need. You are going to grow into the environment that you need to with the protection that you need so that you don't need to fear going into a different one. However, it's very, very intelligent of you to consider before you jump into it, without overanalyzing it and without letting it slow you down again, what do you need in order to move into that structure? And all you might need is a mantra for yourself. All you might need might be one sentence to keep you moving forward that you reinforce 3 times a day. That might be all you need. It doesn't have to be elaborate, okay? Check it out. See what you can clear that's been in your way of you creating the kind of life you would like, and see if you'd like to develop some new patterns around that. All right, my Cancers? I feel like there was something else that was coming in that I slid by. It's this. The idea of betrayal can be from someone else. Somebody can betray us, and it can be, well, I'll read you the card. Acts of betrayal can range from behaviors which make us feel that someone's being unreliable, through to disloyal, and all the way to being malicious. The scope of possible acts that this one word covers is huge. Question: if we didn't take any of these behaviors personally, would we perceive them as betrayals? What I propose to you in this is that sometimes we betray ourselves without meaning to, by not challenging our fears, by not questioning and getting curious about how things could be different. And sometimes the betrayal comes in the form of thinking that there's always something wrong in us that needs to be fixed or apologized for. So I would say to you, take a look at that and see how much of that might be part of your old patterns that have kept you locked in, okay? And it could be something that was put upon you by someone else as part of your growing up. But Cancerians have a sensitive nature, and they can personalize them. We can personalize them coming from other people who are just far less sensitive and make it about us, make it who we are as opposed to a thing we did, right? So we can take on a lot of stuff and kind of incorporate it into an internal sense of who we are that overlays the truth of who we are, which is much bigger and much more. So check in with that and see where maybe you have unintentionally let yourself down with certain attitudes towards yourself, and see if maybe it's time to clear some of those away. It's a great time for it. And I see great things for, Cancer people, really, truly, there's so much feeling, there's so much love, there's so much ability to be empathic. And it's really very much what the world needs right now, but the world needs it coming from a Cancer who understands their worth and understands their value and their gifts and how they can apply them. So this is for you, my loves. You don't have to stay small. You're going to grow into who you need to be much faster than you think. I leave you with that. Have a great week.